Hi, my name is Moni Reid and I am the owner-operator of Concealed Empire Tattoo. The meaning behind the Empire, for what it says to me, is I didn't want it to just be a studio or something like that. I'd like to think that my kids could extend off it if they wanted to branch out. We're doing more with the business than just creating a studio. I've been tattooing for 9 years in July. I had been working for 3 to 4 years before I became a tattoo artist. I think that helped me dramatically in the sense that I was able to get more of an insight to the tools, the products, stuff that you don't get to experience until you're already in the industry. My first tattoo that I received was well before I got into the tattoo industry. Back in the day, you could be very underage getting tattooed. So I think I just turned 15 or I was about to turn 15. I did receive permission from my mum because she had said that she was fine with me getting this particular tattoo because I was always going to be Australian, I was always going to be a Leo. So I had chosen to get the Southern Cross tattoo on the back of my neck with my Leo star sign attached to it. And since then I've had it covered, like most of us do. Our first tattoos get covered. The first tattoo that I did as an artist when I was an apprentice, it was actually on my father. He'd been busting my chops to tattoo him, and he'd said the only way that he would allow me to tattoo him is if he was the first one. And I remember the day that my mentor had said to me, "Righto, today you're gonna do your first tattoo." And I said to him, it has to be my dad. So my dad did end up with a single cherry blossom flower sitting on his shoulder blade, probably the size of a 50-cent piece, and it's still there on its own, nothing added to it. When I got into the industry, I started out doing a lot more mandala geo stuff. And then when I moved to Queensland, originally being in New South Wales, I felt like the demographic up here was a lot more wanting black and grey realism, the Chicano portraits, all the clowns and all that sort of stuff. So I felt like I needed to adapt to my environment. So the style that I specialise in is black and grey realism. I do a lot of portrait sort of stuff, anything from animal portraits, floral. I kind of made a bit of a niche for myself with the mixture of black and grey realism and mandala work. There's never been like a curriculum or time frame. It's been once you're good enough to do this, your mentor will move you to the next stage. They did bring in licensing, but even to get your license, there was no training that you needed to get your license. It was to do a background check on you. So the licensing actually had nothing to do with skills or training. It won't ask you what training you've had or if you have any experience. If you've got the money to pay for your tattoo license and you're not a criminal, you will be granted your tattoo license. So if someone's telling you they're a licensed tattoo artist, it does mean nothing to their skills. I think the easiest part of the bodies to tattoo are obviously like larger canvas areas, arms, legs, backs. I don't think heads are a bad place to tattoo, being that the skin is already taut. I think the harder spots to tattoo are ribs, the inside of the lip, eyelids, inside the ear. That's going to be a difficult place to tattoo. So with a tattoo, it doesn't necessarily need to be the tattoo that's painful. If you're in an uncomfortable position for hours at a time, it will end up being that is hurting more than your actual tattoo. And these chairs, as comfortable as they look, they can end up being very uncomfortable after hours of sitting on them. I think when it comes to tattooing, the most memorable or enjoyable tattoos that we can do, if it's something that we've been able to create from scratch ourselves and had the artistic freedom to be able to do something that we want to do, obviously using our clients' references and their vision, as long as we get the artistic freedom to be able to put our own spin on it, I think anything like that is enjoyable. The most rewarding tattoos that we do in the industry are anything that's going to give someone more self-confidence. I've done tattoos in the past where they've been cancer survivors and stuff that they've wanted you know, tattoos to cover their scarring, someone that's got self-harm scars that want to cover, that's like a past of them that they don't want to keep looking at or be reminded of. So I think that's probably the best part about our industry, is being able to give that to someone and it not really cost us anything, it's just our time. So being able to either cover up something or not remind someone of a past trauma with a tattoo, then that's probably the most rewarding part of our job.